Live Friday, 6 p.m. Thank you for joining me. FX3. Faith comes first. Without God, nothing's going to work. Fitness is second. If your body fails, so will your destiny. The finances are third. Without resources, not going to be able to achieve that vision. That's what FX3 is. Thank you for joining me. Something happened today that's never happened before. And we're going to talk about it. I told you that we've entered a new season, so things are about to get weird. They're getting weird. They are weird. Um, it's not normal. It's not random. So stay to the end. I'm going to explain exactly what I mean and what matters right now to me. Again, I'm just sharing. Um, so today's show is going to be a little shorter than normal. If you're aware, we got hit with a I don't know. You want to call it an engineered or a manufactured storm? I wouldn't fault you for it. Um, but we're covered under ice and snow. It's ridiculous. Everything is covered under 3 inches of ice and snow, 5 inches of snow and 3 inches of ice. So my kids have been out for a school for an entire week, talking about 9 days. Um, I own and operate a roofing company. We we can't install, we can't sell. It's like we're paralyzed. It's miserable. Um, So this is a moment where I need God. I need to rely on my faith. I need to reach into the invisible and bring what is not seen as though is as though it is. Um, so just being real with you, my life feels extremely chaotic right now. I'm under a good amount of stress and pressure, and really, it feels like I'm being attacked. When people talk about spiritual warfare and stuff like that, and I don't want to, it's not a cop out, you know what I mean? So tell me in the comments what you think about that kind of thing. But I will tell you that ever since I started doing this show, it does feel like my life has gotten more difficult. So I keep asking myself, like, is this in my head? Um, has my life gotten harder because I'm actually doing something that matters? Tell me in the comments what you think. So this show is about encouragement for me just as much as it is for you. When life becomes chaotic, I, I I don't need more information. I don't think you need more information. Um, we need direction. So that's what we're doing tonight. We're going to talk about how to seek God. I believe that King Solomon left us a clue in the book of Proverbs. So we're going to look at Proverbs 2. Um, The scripture says that seek and you will find, knock and the door will be opened. I take that as that this is a participation event that is required, not passivity. We're not going to get where we want to get passively. We have to participate. So I think King Solomon gave us a blueprint. So we're going to talk about that. This matters to me right now, and why I think it matters to you is if you're feeling confused or overwhelmed, pressure, potentially spiritually dry or numb, this is for you because this one of the number one questions I think that's being asked, I'm asking, it's like, what do I do? What's next? What do I do next? So I'm going to address that. Um, I'm also going to take a quick look at the markets. It's an absolute bloodbath out there today. Silver, Bitcoin, gold, stock markets, a sea of red. I'm going to share my thoughts, show my screen. We're going to keep that grounded, keep that in perspective. Stay with me to the end. Talk about what we're going to do next week. We're going to go a little deeper next week, talk about different ways to pray and how this all applies to what we're learning today. So this stuff isn't theory. We're talking about survival, spiritually, mentally, physically. Okay. Um, so let's start here. How do we seek God? The Bible says, "Seek and you will find." Well, what the heck does that mean? So let's not just talk about it and let's not just think about it. Let's get practical about this. So I'm going to go into Proverbs chapter 2, and I'm also going to be referencing my book. There's a link in the description if you're interested in getting my book. Uh, Counterfeit Reality has a nice piece about Proverbs 2 and a decode. So I'm going to read a little bit of that as we get into Proverbs 2. So let's take a look. I'm going to share my screen and Proverbs 2, verse 1. Now remember, this is King Solomon. King Solomon is listed as the wisest man and richest man to ever live. And his dad, King David, is a man after God's own heart. So I think David taught Solomon something, and God taught Solomon something, and then there might be a clue here. So it starts off, my son, have you received my words and treasure my commands within you? Now remember, God is our dad. So receive this as your dad is talking to you. So he's saying, hey, child, listen to what I'm saying and treasure the things I'm telling you to do. So I interpret this as we need to take initiative and we have to look for God. We have to learn. We have to read. We have to watch videos. Everyone learns differently. Do you learn by interacting? Do you learn by watching videos? Do you learn by reading? Do you learn by speaking? So, how do you learn? But you have to apply that and you have to go look and learn about God. And the easiest and number one source of that is the Bible to start. Okay. Now, prayer is going to be a big deal, but you got to get into the Bible and figure this out. And so we pursue Him and we start just by doing what the Bible says and what our conscience is telling us, and they're going to line up. So I have this other thing. So I don't know if you don't know this or not, but the U Version Bible app is like legit. Um, this is the Bible app on the phone where it kind of looks like this Bible app, little brown Bible, and there's a more button in the bottom here. And if you click that more button, then there's a video tab, and you got all of these videos. And uh, 10, 15 years ago, that's how I learned the Bible. That's how I read the Bible. These are, if you know what a chalkboard video is, this is what a chalkboard video is. So I started and I went through the whole Bible, and this thing gives you chalkboard videos of every book of the Bible, and it explains exactly what it's about. So I would watch the videos, and then I would read the Bible, and then watch the videos and read the Bible, and took about a year, 18 months, that sort of thing, and you get through the whole Bible by watching these videos. So you've got the Old Testament, okay, which is Genesis, um, on down. It's all in here. It goes farther than Ezekiel, but I know there's more. Then the New Testament starts with the Gospel, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and then you have all of the everything else, the letters, the Corinthians, Romans, Galatians, Ephesians, et cetera. But all of them are in here, and it gives you some insight. These guys, this is um, the Bible Project. These guys know what they're doing. These are good videos, and it's great to watch these videos and read the Bible, particularly if you're newer or beginner or even a refresher and you just want to get some mojo back. I really think this stuff is valuable. And then there's a million other videos in here. Everything. If you've never seen The Chosen, you can watch it in here. You can watch all sorts of cool videos in here, and it's just a way to take initiative. That's what I'm taking from verse 1, initiative. Verse 2, so that you incline your ear to wisdom and apply your heart to understanding. So my book here says, tune your ears to wisdom and concentrate on understanding. So are you coachable? If you've played athletics, you know what that means. It's really hard to train and coach a kid or person who doesn't want to learn. And you tell them something, and well, I already did that. And you tell them something again, I already tried that. And oh, I'm going to do it this way. And you tell them to do it a certain way and they won't do it. It's just really hard to do that. And so at some point, we have to be teachable and coachable, and that's internally with us because God's going to correct you. Um, but it's true, whether it's life, business, sports, school, whatever. If you're seeking God, it's the same thing. It's an internal thing inside. Are you coachable? Do you get offended by every little thing? And because if you are, God's gonna offend you too. You're gonna get offended because He's gonna coach you and He's gonna say, "Nah, you shouldn't have said that, and you need to go apologize for that, or this to be corrected, or whatever the case may be." And I have to deal with this. ah, it's not easy. It's easier said than done. Okay, but being coachable and being teachable, it's like playing a video game, right? If life was a video game, what level would you be on? And are you trying to get to the next level? So you're never going to beat the game of life, but we can level up. And a way we can level up is by uh, stop being offended, me included. Everyone's so offended these days. It just seems like it's a heavy situation spiritually in the invisible realm, and offense is out there. And you just got to guard your heart and try not to be offended and allow correction. Holy Spirit's going to correct you. So you just got to do it and level up. Um, verse 3. Yes, if you cry out for discernment and lift up your voice for understanding. What does mine say? Cry out for insight and ask for understanding. So you have to ask. You have to have passionate prayer. Prayer is a conversation with God. Talked about that last week. The prayer part is just talking with God. It has to be passionate. It's something you are, not something you do. It's got to be heartfelt, fervent, right? The prayers of the fervent prayer of the righteous man avail much, right? Fervent, like with heat, with passion, with seriousness. Like, are you trying to accomplish something or are you just saying words into the air? Is there intentionality behind it? God knows your heart, okay? But don't just say some words or think about some stuff. Has to be real. It has to be intimate. So you got to put in the energy, put in, like, I know people that could reel off every sports statistic ever known to man, but couldn't tell you one Bible verse, right? Or are you a workaholic and all you do is work and you know everything about your job? Or do you play golf 4 or 5 times a week, right? Or is your hobby whatever it is? Like, what are we pouring into? So we have to be passionate about prayer too. We have to have some passion in having this communication and this dialogue with God for it to truly click. And it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't. There's trial and error. You got to try different things. And next week, I'm going to dive deeper into this, onto how to have intimate prayer and have these conversations and some, um, I don't know, tricks of the trade. I don't even know what you call them, but whatever. Just like, how do you do it? But be intentional. Think about it. Be passionate. It's not just something you do. Verse 4. If you seek her, so who's her? Discernment and understanding. Okay. This is another rabbit hole you can go down to is understanding is a spirit, one of the seven spirits of God. Wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. So treat understanding as like a person. So if you seek her as silver and search for her as for hidden treasures, that could be the spirit of God, understanding, wisdom, knowledge, right? These, think of them as entities that you're seeking after, and you have to look for these hidden treasures. So my book says, search for them as you would for silver, seek them like hidden treasures. So basically, how hard do you go after money? You need to go after understanding for the same thing. Now, what does that boil down to? Like, what does that mean practically? What are your priorities? You need to establish your priorities. You need to take a cold, hard look at yourself because your treasure is where your heart is, and that's where the king of and what the king of kings has for plan of your life. Like, is your plan for your life, is it the retirement plan you have over Charles Schwab, or is it I want to be a scratch golfer, or is it I want to be a man of prayer? So these are things that we have to come to grips with and figure out what our priorities are, me included. I'm not talking with you here, okay? Because I'm in this boat too, and I'm readjusting. I'm the one who wrote this freaking thing, and I don't always do it. Verse 5. Then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. Then you will understand what it means to fear the Lord and you will gain knowledge of God. So you have to be in awe. It's like God is awesome, AWE, awe, awesome. So we have to be in awe. So it's not the fear of the Lord, like, oh, I'm so scared of God. It's just like, wow, it's awesome. He's awesome. God is awesome. So, do you remember what it was like when you first met your spouse or when you had your first crush and how you had those butterflies and how you would do anything for that person? It's hard to even remember that far back for me, but that's how you have to think of God. And sometimes, and I truthfully, I don't recently think like of God that way, and I need to get back to it. Now, when you were a kid, did you refrain from doing something because you knew that if you did it, your mom would kill you? And someone asks you, "Why aren't you doing that?" You said, "If my mom now did this, she would kill me." That's the type of reverence you would have for God. You don't want to disappoint God by doing something that you know He doesn't want you to do. So you're not afraid of Him. You're not scared of Him. It's not like He's going to throw a lightning bolt at you. That's not what we're talking about. But you just don't need to run around acting like a jackass, knowing doing stuff that you know God wouldn't approve of. So you got to read the Bible. It's going to help you grow, right? Relationship with Him. You just got to be in gratitude and thankfulness. Be in awe of how awesome. I mean, really, our realm, our earth is pretty awesome. I know it's pretty crappy out there, and I know there's a lot of crappy stuff happening right now. But if we can, that's to me, that's manufactured. This is low vibrational frequencies being pounded in our head. If we can rise up above that, there is beauty everywhere. We just have to shift our perspective. So we have to seek Him with passion, persistence, and humbleness. And the Bible says that when we do that, He's going to find us. So as you seek, okay, you will find. Um, Now, in my book, I took there's something that's called the seven foundational truths. So it's seven examples that's helped me and plenty of other people. I didn't create this. I'm just kind of, it's in my book, but I don't even know where I got it from. But the seven foundational truths to finding, following, understanding who Jesus is. So, one is miracles. There's more documented miracles, all right, through people claiming Jesus than anything else. There's a book called Miracles. It's the credibility of the New Testament by a guy named Craig Keener. And he just documents hundreds of millions of people who claim to have experienced a miracle through Jesus. Nowhere else in the world are you going to find that. Two, historical prophecies coming to pass. So an example is Luke 21:5-24. That prophecy saved countless lives in 70 AD. The Bible, there's hundreds of fulfilled prophecies in the Bible, the examples of all sorts of prophecies, particularly surrounding Jesus. So this is another thing that's just help you ground your faith. Three, archaeological evidence that supports the Bible. Nobody's ever proven anything historically about the Bible to ever be wrong. It's never been disproven. And as time progresses, more and more evidence comes out through modern technology and archaeology of proving that historical data in the Bible is real. For personal testimony, do you know a born again believer? I am, and I am living proof that Jesus is real because there's zero chance I would be having this video with you watching right now if Jesus wasn't real. The real existence of Christ, he was a man. That's a fact. No historian's going to debate that. So it's up to you what you do with that information. And then six, Bible authenticity, the miracle of its preservation, the miracle of its circulation, and the miracle of its origination. These are miracles. If you actually do some research and look into the authenticity of the preservation of the Bible, the circulation of the Bible, and the origination of the Bible, it's dumbfounding how awesome it is. Seven, the hatred of the devil, of enemy. Evil exists, and pure evil hates Christ, the Bible, and his followers. It's pretty clear on social media. It's pretty clear when you're going to watch the Super Bowl next week, okay, in the halftime show. And when you watch the Grammys and all of this crap on TV, how much they hate Jesus, okay? For some reason, evil doesn't hate Buddhist, Islam, New Age, right? Hindus. So take that for what you want, but no one's hating on them, all right? There's a disdain for Christ by certain portions of the world. So take that for what you want. All right, that's how we seek God. Um, Before we look at the markets, before we talk about the chaos that's going on out there, all right, it's people. We scroll too much, we worry too much, we're waiting. All right, waiting is not seeking. Okay, so I just gave you a blueprint. This is how you seek. Okay, Bible says, "Seek, knock, and ask." This is a participation game. All right, I just went through all of this stuff. Why does it matter? Things feel chaotic right now. In my life, particularly, I don't know about yours. I would bet yours, but I don't know. Unstable. All right, these are words. Confused, anxious. This is words to describe my life and society right now. So, this is the time that we should be seeking God deliberately, listening carefully, and moving with intentionality. If you don't seek God on purpose, you're going let me say this right. If you don't seek God on purpose, you're going to absorb what the world is broadcasting. Social media broadcast, TV broadcast, okay? You're literally watching a broadcast. So what's a broadcast? A broadcast. It's a spell, all right? So if we're not seeking God on purpose, we're absorbing the spell of the world, and it ain't good. So here's the thing, if you don't seek God, people just look to money, the markets, trends, and that's why things are chaotic right now, particularly financially. So let's talk about it. What's happening right now? It just seems like today is an absolute sea of red. Okay. I've never seen anything like it. Um, if you don't understand the season we're in, the charts aren't going to make sense. If you don't understand cycles, volatility is going to feel personal. And if you don't understand fear, you're going to make bad decisions. So this is why seeking God is important. So let me show you. Look at that. If you don't understand what a red candle means, this is the daily chart. So we're looking at a one daily chart. So each of these green and red sticks equals a day. And if we go out for a while, This thing since March of 25 has been ascending in the channel up, made another leg up, and then made another leg up. And this is what people call a parabola. So this thing's been going up. So it's time for a correction. But this is trillions of dollars wiped out, and they're not gone. Money doesn't cease to exist, it changes hands. So there was a new trend that formed, and then that trend has been broken all the way back down. So the low of today was down here at $75. It's recovered up to about $84, and I would like to see it above 85, $86 by the end of the day, which got about 30 minutes. I'm recording this early today because of the chaos. The thing's chaotic, but I'm going to make the commitment that I'm going to put this video out, and it's live. I'm no editing. This is the deal. I'm just going to record it and then drop it at 6. But in the next 30 minutes, I'm really looking for this thing to close above 85, $86 to gain this channel back so that we can still remain in this uptrend, but not good. However, these were some good buying up, in my opinion, not financial advice. These were some really good buying opportunities. I don't think you're going to see. I've never seen something like this, where in one day, the price just yesterday, the price was $121, and today it came down to $75. So never seen anything like that. Gold, same thing. Reclaimed its old trend. This is its old trend channel here that it crept up the whole way, then blew it out, made a new high of $5,600 and all the way back down into this channel. Now it's posted up above this channel. So we're still above trend line for this gold. Bitcoin took a big spill yesterday, and Bitcoin has just like, so again, there's a trend line going down. It went into a parallel, a sideways trend that has broken down. This was the recent low of $80,000, and it's right on that. So we're right on this support here at the $79 to $80,000, and I'm thinking we're going to be down here between the 50 and 60. So when this falls, everything else is going to fall. And look, it's just a sea of red today. Here's the Nasdaq. But okay, and I'm not trying to bore you with a bunch of charts. Okay, all I'm saying is I've never seen anything like this before in silver. When you're talking about 30% down in one day, that's never happened before. So that's a big deal. Do I know exactly what that means? No, but it means something. I know it means something. So, and that started in the middle of the night, and so there's manipulation tactics to go after this stuff in the middle of the night when no one's listening. But the thing is in China, silver costs $120 right now. It's a issue. I'm not really sure. I don't want to know what to tell you. All I know is that I bought some more. Um, why does it feel so intense? It feels intense for me. Not sure how you feel, but narratives are everywhere. This thing in Minnesota has gotten people going crazy. The TDS is insane right now, and it's unfortunate because it's clouding people's judgment. All right. We've talked about this before. It's not a normal environment. Old things are going away and new things aren't fully formed yet. We're in a transition. So I personally think the biggest mistake people are making is they're not seeking God, and then they're panicking. So fear says, sell all my silver. Okay. Discernment says, but what's really happening? Discernment observes, fear reacts. Okay. So just Bill Belichick it. Come on, people. Let's Bill Belichick this thing and just be even Steven. Steady Eddie. All right. If you don't watch the markets, if you're not doing that stuff, it doesn't really matter to you, but it matters to the world. that things are going crazy. So seek, ask, you'll find, you're going to understand, right? So if you're feeling anxious about money, if you're unsure what to do, if you're feeling pressured to act, that's not a sign that you're behind. It's just a sign that you need clarity, not speed. So seek God and ask and be patient with God. And I believe you're going to get the answers you want. None of this matters, all right? If you're always exhausted and tired and constantly spinning, okay? So next week we're going to talk about how we can stay grounded as well. All right, so today we talked about seeking God before reacting, slowing down instead of panicking, okay, choosing clarity over noise. If things feel hard right now, it's because they are, but it's not necessarily that things are that chaotic. It's just, it doesn't necessarily mean something's wrong. It just means something's happening, okay? So resistance is confirmation that you're moving in the right direction, okay? So we're going in the right direction. When you go up a mountain, it's not easy. Okay, going down the mountain's gonna be a lot harder. Okay, a lot easier. I'm sorry. Going down the mountain's gonna be a lot easier, and going up the mountain's gonna be a lot harder. So if you're overwhelmed right now, you're not broken, you're not weak, you're not behind. Okay, you're living in a moment that requires intentionality. So God isn't hiding, wisdom is not scarce, and direction is available. So stick with the Proverbs too. Try and figure that out. We have to participate. Okay, this is a participation game. God has chosen to partner with us. It's called the Great Co-Mission, where we are co-spirits as one. Okay? Remember who you are, remember whose you are, and remember where clarity actually comes from. So let's limit the scrolling, okay? Limit the reacting, limit the panic, okay? And move into seeking. So next week we're going to go a little different on that, how to pray, things to apply that what we talked about today. So you don't need to figure everything out right now, okay? Not today. You just need to know the next right thing, and that is simply seek Him. So if this encouraged you, I encourage you to hit the like button, to subscribe, do all that YouTube algorithm jazz. Let me know what you think in the comments. Share it with somebody, all of that good stuff. Faith is first, fitness, finance. God bless you. Stay warm. Be cool. You're awesome.